I've got a serious question. Please don't be rude like the religious people on my live chat last night, which was sick and perverted, some of the comments they were saying. If you don't believe the Anunnaki were the ones that's written, in the Bible, fine, just don't be sick and perverted by it. Okay, so the question is, if you took away the Bible, what evidence have you got of God? Anything at all, just one bit of evidence if you type that in. Now, the Anunnaki, if I got rid of the 2 million tablets compared to the 1,200 pages of the Bible, if I got rid of the 2 million tablets that predate the Bible, what evidence would I have of the Anunnaki? So I don't know any for God for the Bible, but I can tell you we still have the cylinder seals which show basically Anunnaki. I can also point to here news that Ninurta had a temple. He was one of the Anunnaki. I can also point to carvings of the Anunnaki. I can also point to buildings that we can't even recreate today in different places, Angkor Wat and India. Our gods, the Anunnaki with the beards, the Ajiji, the younger Anunnaki with no beards, also you know them as the fallen angels. Now the ancient texts here, translations by the Oxford University, I'm just reading this bit out because there's still people that actually don't understand that the Anunnaki were aliens, so I'm just pointing this part out here. Enki answered Anna and Enlil, in those days, in those distant days, in those distant nights, in those distant nights, in those years, in those distant years, after the assembly had made the flood sweep over to destroy the seed of mankind. Clearly they're not mankind then. Among us, I was the only one who was for life. He remained alive, Zazudra, which was Noah, alone. Although a human being remained alive, then you made me swear by heaven and earth, and I swear that no human will be allowed to live forever. Which means the Anunnaki were not human. You don't write this if you're all one of the same. And that ends this news roundup for you. This is an ape's jaw that was found 8 to 9 million years old from Greece, and stupid scientists are saying that evolution of humans may have started there instead of Africa, but there's no actual connection whatsoever from that to humans other than it's an ape jaw in Greece. So don't listen to mainstream, they're stupid. And mainstream has now said that these rocks that go up and down the Nile were deliberately placed there to shape the Nile and force water down various parts. I've actually said already that the Anunnaki did this. I've been saying that for ages because they also created the Euphrates and Tigris River. They actually dug it out and made it, so it's man-made or Anunnaki-made. Speaking of Anunnaki, the world's oldest human footprint, because they created humans over in Africa, has been found in South Africa, which is exactly where they said they created humans. And so this is 153,000. How silly are we? When I look up at the stars at night, I thought they were actually real, but according to this person, he says that they're all CGI. Now, this person's religious because I've been chatting to him, so I know that. So I'm just going to quote something back to them because I like doing this. So this is from the Bible, New Version. And when you look up to the sky and see the sun, the moon, and the stars, that means that way back when the Bible was written, yes, someone had a little CGI, bit of fun up there with maybe a projector and stuff. But let's go further back than the Bible. Let's go back to the original texts that the Bible copied from. So the oldest known language whatsoever. And you see that there's stars there. So the Anunnaki weren't obviously adding CGI stars. So please don't, just maybe watch my videos instead of, I don't know where you're getting this kind of information from, that the stars are CGI. Computer generated world. Finally, there's a video that shows our God was an alien with proof, and the proof is showing that the Anunnaki were the aliens that created humans, just as it says in the Lost Book of Enki. So the video that you want to go and watch is called The Lost Book of Our True History, where it backs up with proof, because lots of people wanted to know whether or not Zecharia Sitchin had proof when he wrote this book. There is proof. You can go and read it. Or watch it, in fact, and it's on YouTube, and it's called Proof Anunnaki Were Here, and it's done by Our True History, so you just go watch Our True History video, and there's 35 minutes already of this, which is enough to give you enough proof without a shadow of a doubt. However, if you want to watch hours more, then on my Patreon page called Our True History, just go to patreon.com/Our True History. There's 8 parts already, which totals nearly 3 hours, and there's going to be more. Here's a clip from my many hours proof videos called The Lost Book of Our True History, based on The Lost Book of Enki. Have a listen. If you read the Lost Book of Enki, you'll see the ships landed on the water. And the reason why I'm not showing everything that Zecharia Sitchin has translated is because he's translated tablets that are not in public domain, which is why he's got more information than other people and they don't like it. So I can only show you what has been translated, and hopefully you'll see that Zecharia Sitchin does make sense, because words like here stand in a vessel either is a spaceship or a ship of some description. So if you're interested in watching the full many hours worth of pure proof of the Anunnaki's existence and that God was really an Anunnaki, head over to patreon.com/OurTrueHistory. Many videos there already and other things there, but the main one, if you're interested, is this. If you're religious, please move along. I'm about to show evidence that Ezekiel met Enlil, the Anunnaki, not an almighty God. So Ezekiel 1:26. Above the vault over their heads was what looked like a throne of lapis lazuli, which is a blue stone type of thing. And high above on the throne was a figure like that of a man. Obviously, Enlil was a figure like a man, as opposed to an almighty being that has no form, that no one's ever seen anyway. So yeah, Anunnaki. But here's the proof, and if you're interested in watching more of these videos I'm just about to show you a clip of, there is many hours worth on my Patreon page. Literally, I've done all the hard work for you. Evidence to prove that the Anunnaki were here and they were our gods. And that's on my Patreon page called patreon.com/OurTrueHistory, and hours worth. Anyway, here we go. This is a passage translated, obviously pre the Bible, way thousands of years before the Bible.
Master, I erected a throne whose form was beyond form itself. I stood the throne of Ninlil in the Iga-Gisua in the Ki'ur, the great place. The throne of Enlil is not to be removed from there. I, Ismay Dagan, son of Dagan, stood the throne for Enlil, my master, on a dais. Of 7 storms, decorated in a masterly and highly skilled manner with near Iji and Suba stones and translucent lapis lazuli, and I seated Enlil there with my lady Ninlil.
So, coincidence that the almighty being that has no form requires a lapis lazuli throne. Just so happens that Enlil, who is also the same god in Israel, needed or got a lapis lazuli throne. Coincidence? No, it's evidence. The firmament. I'm doing a video on whether or not this is actually an impenetrable dome or whether it's just a layer between space and Earth's atmosphere. Now, this will be an unbiased video, just like I did here on my Patreon page, a series of videos called The Lost Book of Our True History, where it proves, unfortunately, that the God in the Bible is actually talking about the Anunnaki alien race. No one will be able to debunk these. I've already put a video up on YouTube, 35 minutes from one of these parts, and so far all I've got is people liking the video and saying well done, amazing research. So I'm going to take that same style of research where it's unbiased and go to find out whether or not even meteorites came in ancient texts. Now, if meteorites are shown that they come through and land here in ancient texts, that means this impenetrable dome is not impenetrable. So keep watching. I will let you know when this new video is out. Breaking news: human remains have been found in Laos in Southeast Asia, and this is significant because they're saying it's from 80,000 years ago. Now, mainstream normally say that 60,000 years ago is when humans left, or Homo sapiens left, South Africa. So to have a 20,000 year difference shows that they have no clue what they're talking about. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I talk about dates and people say I'm wrong, and then later on we find out that I'm right, it's probably easier just to go with my videos, the 1,000 odd that I've done. I know I sound big-headed, but hey, once again, they're talking here that I'm right with the time frame. So humans were around from 300,000 years ago, and yes, they did move, and yes, the Anunnaki also took them to various different places. So everything that I've said so far on my videos, which is why no one's debunked me on 1,000 odd videos, is because I'm right, and mainstream just keep getting the dates wrong and changing things.